Week 7 in the NFL is in full swing. Just finished up or kicked off with the Thursday night football between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. A little more on that in a little bit. But the Week 7 matchup I have today is get to that in a bit. Anyways, Madden finally bounces back, gets a simulation right with Dallas over Green Bay. Not quite the 21-point win Madden predicted, but 14 points, we'll take that. A little disappointed in my Green Bay Packers there, but I mean, Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and that offense for Dallas just looks incredible. It's when they're playing against your team, it's a little heart aching. But that gives I believe Madden is now 3-4 now. With that, 1, 2, 3, yeah. This is the 8th game simulating. Madden is 3-4, and Week 7 simulation I'm doing is New England versus Pittsburgh. The big story out of this one is that Big Ben is out, Landry Jones is in, and Tom Brady is back. So I think a couple key matchups for this one. New England on the road, Pittsburgh at home. Pittsburgh's look pretty good at home, but the question becomes how much good can they be without their starting quarterback? So we'll find out. I think this is going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be a little lopsided because coming off of Pittsburgh they're still on top of the AFC North at 4-2, but their 2 losses came to one surprise was Philly. By that time, Philly was still undefeated, but their second one, Miami. Miami has had highs and lows, but more lows than highs. So that loss was questionable, but yet it's because they lost their starting quarterback, Big Ben Roethlisberger. So we'll see what Madden thinks, see what I think later on. I know I want to get underway with, we still have only one undefeated team in the NFL, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. The only reason why they're still undefeated is because they had a bye. They get to take on one of the teams that were undefeated early on in the season. That is the Philadelphia Eagles. Get to that game in a little bit. But, I mean, bunch of big news, bunch of big headlines throughout the NFL this week. I mean, I'll start talking about Thursday night football. Thursday night football just wrapped up between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. And at first, it looked like the Green Bay was still being a little lackluster. I mean, Bears are beat up. Brian Hoyer was coming in red hot, and it was, could Hoyer lead these Bears to a victory at Lambeau, or can the Packers finally get back to their winning ways? Well, when it was all said and done, the Packers got back to their winning ways. Why? Well, mainly because they were able to knock out Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer apparently has a broken arm. Sad news for him. So, he was doing great. I mean, 4 consecutive games with 300 yards passing. That was a franchise record for the Bears. And what happens midway through the second quarter? He gets a nasty takedown between Peppers and Matthews, lands on his left shoulder, and gets diagnosed with a broken arm. I mean, and it looked like the Bears were going to stick with him. I mean, it seems like when Hoyer does good, he gets a job, he gets the start, and then he just somehow flutters out. So Matt Barkley came in for them, did decent, not the best, but hey, Bears did get the lead early in the second half after Rodgers got sacked and fumbled the ball and they recovered in the end zone. But after that, it was all Green Bay. I mean, it was only a 3-point lead heading into halftime, 6-3 Green Bay. The Packers had a 90-yard drive, which ended at the Bears' 1-yard line. They went for it on fourth down and couldn't get it. Why? Because Green Bay has no running backs. Earlier this week, Green Bay, or just today, a couple hours ago, or early Thursday morning, Eddie Lacy got placed on IR, needs surgery on his ankle. James Starks, he's out for several weeks. He already had surgery on his knee. They made a trade to pick up Niall Davis from the Chiefs, and he's only been with the team for 2 days, if that. And they signed a guy, Don Jackson, off their practice squad, undrafted free agent rookie, and he got hurt today in the game tonight. But they mainly relied on Ty Montgomery in the backfield and Devontae Adams at wide receiver. So Adams tied the franchise record for the Packers, 13 receptions tonight, tied with second with Don Hudson, and led the team in receiving yards and touchdowns. So Packers end up winning 26-10, and I will say I hate those color rush uniforms. I hate them. Why NFL? Why? What's with the color rush? Okay? Why are they mandatory? I mean, tonight you had Green Bay wearing all white. I mean, personally, I would love them seeing all green. I really thought Green Bay was going to be all yellow and Chicago be all orange, but thank God that didn't happen. But it's stupid. First, you make Thursday Night Footballs a weekly event. Then you tell them, hey, let's do color rush. It's like, you wonder why people aren't watching games anymore. It's hard to watch the uniforms, and it's hard to watch every game every day of the week. So, but in the end, like I said, Green Bay wins. Aaron Rodgers, he threw for over 56 attempts. He only connected 39 times for 326 yards. So he finally broke that 13-game streak of not having a 300-yard passing game. So, but in the end, it was a decent game, but there's been better, and hopefully this is one of them with New England and Pittsburgh, and hopefully Sunday we see some more good ones. And we have one game yet again, since I don't know why the NFL has to, but hey, let's have a game in London. The second London game is for this year is the LA Rams and the New York Giants. And speaking of the New York Giants, their kicker, Josh Brown. What's the deal with him? I mean, you've heard domestic abuse, domestic violence throughout the NFL, and you see, not to be stereotypic, but you see the players, it's usually like defensive linemen, offensive linemen, or running backs, whatever. But a kicker, I mean, that's, you wouldn't, that'd be one of the last positions you would think someone delivering domestic violence, domestic abuse. But, you know, in all seriousness and reality, that's, you know, not a good thing. I mean, domestic abuse, domestic violence, you know, being violent towards your partner is, you know, what's wrong with you? I know people get angry, something, but anyways, that's a whole different topic for a different day. But, I mean, Josh Brown, the kicker for the Giants, is not traveling to London with the team. He's not officially been released, but apparently more documents have come out about his domestic violence arrest in May of 2015. And the Giants say, hey, don't come to London. We'll sign somebody, and they signed up Robbie Gould, former Bears kicker and all-time leading scorer for the Bears. So I hope the NFL gets this right. I think the Giants are being wise of trying to separate themselves from their kicker because of all this issue going on. And let's just hope the NFL doesn't F it up this time. I mean, you get paid, well, for him, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, but, you know, I don't know what else to say. But, like I said, hopefully hopefully the New York Giants, hopefully the NFL, they get this all set out, and when everything's all said and done, everything is, everyone's happy in the long run. Obviously, Brown won't be one way or another, but, you know, it is what it is. There we go. Talk about that a little bit. Because one of the big games this weekend is the undefeated Minnesota Vikings taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, what are they? They are currently, they've lost 2 straight, actually. They lost to the Redskins this past week, and they lost to the Lions the week before, I do believe. And it was amazing that they went that far. Yep, Eagles are 3-2 because they already had their bye, 2 straight losses. And I mean, that's a tight race out there in the NFC East. Cowboys with 1 loss, Redskins now.
Because a lot of teams will take their main running back and split them out wide. That's more of an illusion than anything else.
The Redskins winning 4 in a row after starting the season, 0-2, and the Giants, they got back on the winning way. So it's going to be a tight race out in the East. And this game will might help some playoff seedings because you know, yeah. But the big thing is the Sam Bradford heading back to Philly after getting traded to Philly from the Rams a few years ago. He gets traded to Minnesota because Minnesota loses their quarterback. And in all honesty, I think it's a bigger win for Minnesota because they haven't lost yet. But hey, Carson Wentz, he got the starting job then in Philly, and he hasn't looked too bad. The whole question is, can he live up that big stage and hang on and stay there, whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Chris Boswell now for the extra point.
So, speaking of standings,
Put it through to make it 7-0 Steelers.
Let's take a quick look at the standings throughout the NFL. Which teams are hot, which teams are not. And we will start in the AFC as usual. Start off in the AFC East, where these New England Patriots are on top of the East as usual at 5-1, but surprisingly, to some may say, the Buffalo Bills are just a half a game behind, because since they gave New England, their only loss so far this year. They are at 4-2, but the Miami Dolphins are in third place at 2-4, while the New York Jets are still a miserable 1-5, and they have officially made a change at quarterback. They are saying bye-bye Fitzpatrick and hello to Geno. So that will be interesting. And the funny thing is, Jets start the season with a missed field goal to go 0-1. They come back in a shootout against Buffalo in week 2. They go 1-1. They think everything's right in the world, but then they have lost 4 straight. These Jets don't know what to say.
He is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play there.
So that's the AFC East. In the AFC North, you have these Pittsburgh Steelers at top at 4-2, followed by the once undefeated Baltimore Ravens, who are now at 3-3. They started the season 3-0, and they have lost 3 straight. But all 6 of their games, they have a net point of 2. They've been in there. Their largest margin of loss now is 6 points. And they take on the Jets this weekend. So that's going to be a tough one to pick there, because it can go either way is the thing. And in my opinion, big disappointment in the Cincinnati Bengals. They are 2-4. They're in third place in the North. It's like, what's the deal? Let's see. I mean, they lost to Dallas a couple weeks ago, but Dallas is on fire right now.
And Tom Brady knows what a great security blanket Gronk is. When all else fails,
they beat the Jets and they beat Miami, the 2 worst teams in the East, where they have lost to Pittsburgh, lost to Denver, lost to Dallas, and lost to New England. So I mean, those 4 losses, very respectful. Their 2 wins, you expect. They take on the Browns this week, and you would think that'd be an easy win, but divisional game. One thing I always say when it comes to divisional game, it could go either way. And and speaking of those lonely Browns, they are 0-6 and bring up the rear of the AFC North and the AFC and the NFL in general. You have 1 undefeated team and 1 winless team. And come on, Cleveland, your other 2 major sports teams, one won their league championship. The other one is going to be playing for their league championship. It'd be crazy. It'd be ironic if the Browns could pull something out of their butts, win 10 straight, make the playoffs, head to the Super Bowl, and Cleveland wins the NBA championship, the World Series, and the Super Bowl. I mean, that'd be crazy, unbelievable, and highly doubtful. But, I mean, good for the city of Cleveland, but come on, Browns. Move on to the AFC West. Was surprised here for some, maybe not for all. The Oakland Raiders. They are still have the lead in the AFC West at 4-2, followed by the defending Super Bowl champions at 4-2 as well. And Kansas City's just half a game behind at 3-2. So Kansas City beat Oakland. And Denver is just stuck in the middle there. But you have 3 teams with 2 losses, but 2 with 4 wins and 1 with 1 win because Kansas City has already had their bye this week. So unlike the East, the AFC West is wide open. AFC North, not as much. But then the San Diego Chargers 2-4. They're 2-4, but they have a plus 18 in their net points. So what is that saying? And like, I forget who I heard this from, but the San Diego Chargers are one of the best 2-4 teams. Just dating back to last year, they just can't close out for the victory. They just somehow lose it. That's why they have 4 losses, because they just hang on to it to win it. Kansas City, San Diego is a better team than 2-4. They can easily be 6-0 or 4-2, 5-1, 3-3. San Diego is better than what their record says, and that goes back to last year. So hopefully, if San Diego just gets on a tear, looking at their upcoming schedule, let's see. They lost to Kansas City week 1. They beat Jacksonville week 2, but then they lost to Indianapolis by 4 points, New Orleans by 1, and Oakland by 3 because of that botch field goal attempt. But they beat Denver last Thursday night. But they got no easy test this Sunday when they take Atlanta in Atlanta. And Atlanta is a hot team, even though the Falcons lost last week to Seattle. It was a close game, and Atlanta came back. Atlanta should have won that game. But that's a tale for a different day. But, oh, geez, they take on Atlanta, they take on at Denver, they take on Tennessee and Miami. Right there, they should at least go for another 2 for 2 and be at 4-6 before their bye. And then after their bye, Houston, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Oakland, Cleveland, Kansas City to end out the season. Right there, they can go on a tear, win 6 straight games, finish 10-6, and a possibility of making the playoffs. They can easily beat Houston. They can take Tampa Bay to limits. Carolina sucks. I don't know what happened, but they suck this year. Oakland can be a tough game. Cleveland, that's an almost gimme. And then end the season hosting Kansas City. Could go either way. But at 2-4, San Diego has a lot of room to improve, and they could easily either win the West or make the playoffs. Now finally, AFC South. This is still a semi-open division as well. You have Houston at 4-2. They have issues at quarterback. Is Brock Osweiler, was he worth it? He's better than Brian Hoyer. But is Houston worth it? Is Osweiler worth it? We'll see. Tennessee's in second place at 3-3. Then you have Jacksonville at 2-3 and Indianapolis at 2-4. And the question becomes, what's the deal with Indianapolis? Andrew Luck and company. I keep hearing that if they had an offensive line, Andrew Luck would be standing up straight and be throwing the ball. And all 4 teams in the AFC South they're all in the reds for net points. Houston is 4-0 at home, which is a plus, but they're 0-2 on the road. So, Indianapolis isn't out of it yet. Jacksonville isn't out of it. Tennessee's just down by 1 game, and Houston, just be happy. Just hope the playoffs were today. So,
just continues to have such a productive career.
And has made himself into a
if
receiver.
the playoffs were today, I'll get to that in a bit. But let's go to the NFC side. NFC, that's where all the action is, where all the power is.
And that conversion, oh boy, it's been good.
Yeah. Let's see. That's fine. Oh. Yeah, if Pittsburgh wants to win this game, their defense needs to take over.
He gets in to drop him for a loss of 12.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes.
So, NFC side. We start in the NFC East, and like I said before, these Dallas Cowboys, they could easily be undefeated. The only reason why they lost week 1 is because of poor clock management against the Giants. And the East could go either way. The East is wide open in my mind. All 4 teams are pretty good. All 4 teams have the capability, at least this year, to have winning records, to make a push for the playoffs. But right now, they need to knock off Dallas, who has won 5 in a row. Their last one coming off going to Lambeau Field and making the Packers look like chumps, like a college team. I mean, Dak Prescott was accurate. He finally threw his first interception. He did break Tom Brady's record, though, of most attempts without an interception. But he had a fumble and an interception happened, but that didn't matter.
So incomplete on second down. Now
Ezekiel Elliott, he's been running crazy. But one reason why, you have to credit the front line. If you don't have a good front 5, your running game is nowhere. And if you have a stellar front 5 that makes holes, blocks for you, you can make a D3 school running back who's 5th on the depth chart look like an all-star. Because you block, there's a hole, run right through it, gone. So, I mean, no disrespect for Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. They are young. They have a long career ahead of them. And who knows, this might be their version of Aikman and Smith. And, I mean, for Cowboy fans, you know, your glory days might finally be in front of you. I mean, you might finally return to the Super Bowl. You might finally be able to lift the Lombardi Trophy after over 20 years of disappointment. This might be your year that they finally reach back. Do I think they'll make the Super Bowl this year? It's going to be tough, but can't put it past them. But anyways, Dallas 5-1 in the East. Washington, defending NFC East champions, they are right behind them by a game at 4-2. Started the season 0-2. Looked awful. I mean, oh geez, they lost to these Pittsburgh Steelers and to the Dallas Cowboys. So I mean, those 2 losses, those are respectful losses in my book. And then look who they beat. They beat the Giants by 2. They took care of Cleveland. They took care of Baltimore. But in my opinion, impressive win was Philly. Philly was on a hot streak, starting the season 3-0, but then they have tapered off. So Washington, they still have a shot for the East and for a playoff spot. Philly, they're 3-2. They had their bye week, so I mean that's why they're half a game behind Washington. Plus they lost to Washington. But Philly has tapered off just a little bit. And they have some decent wins, but they're 2 losses. Washington, respectful right now. Washington has a winning record. Detroit, though, I guess that's a respectful loss. Detroit's up and down, I'll say. But they have a big task ahead of them in a revenge game for against the Vikings. And if Jim Schwartz defense can show up, they're home. They have the hometown advantage, home crowd advantage. If their defense shows up, and they've practiced against Sam Bradford all the time, so I mean, I gotta give the edge to Philly in this one because they know Sam Bradford, and their defense will be ready to come after him. So, but Philly 3-2 in the East, and finally the New York Giants finally got back to their winning ways. Started the season 2-0, lost 3 straight. Question became on Odell Beckham. Well, apparently he's in love with the kicking net now after abusing that. But I mean, they beat Dallas. They have that to cheer about. They don't play Dallas until December 11th, prime time in New York. But they lost to Washington, they lost to Minnesota, and they lost to Green Bay. Those 3 losses, just a little heartbreaking for all 3 of those. But I mean, Washington's a good team. Minnesota's undefeated. Green Bay, I know I paused, but Green Bay is a good team when everything's clicking. Every team's a good team if everything's clicking, obviously. But Green Bay is better than what people want to believe. They are. So maybe I'll get to them in a bit. But I mean, no one has a losing record in the East, in the NFC East. NFC West, 1 loss, Seattle. I don't know how, but 1 loss, Seattle. They are on top at 4-1 in the West. But you have 2 teams, Los Angeles and Arizona, at 3-3. And I think the bigger surprise are the Rams. The Rams are in 2nd place. And I wouldn't say this division is wide open. Right now, Seattle has a comfortable two-game lead in the West. I mean, LA does have the tiebreaker over Seattle at the moment, but I got to stick with Seattle, has a comfy lead. And it might be tough, especially how the East is playing. One division might have 2 teams make the playoffs, if not 3, I should say. Usually you have two divisions with 2 teams, but it's rare to have 1 team or 3 teams from one division to make the playoffs. But Rams are in 2nd place at 3-3 with a net points of -27. Arizona, they're 3-3. They're on a 2-game win streak. Let's see. Did they? Try and remember who they played week 1 and if they won. No, they lost week 1 to New England just because of a missed field goal. And then they won against Tampa Bay, but they lost to Buffalo and they lost to Los Angeles, which is 2 big surprise losses. But Buffalo, like I said, these 2 might be respectful losses, but then they came back, they beat San Francisco, they beat the New York Jets, and they got a tough game coming up on Sunday night against Seattle, and this would be in a statement game, and they're in the desert. So Arizona, Seattle in the desert, that'll be a great one, good one. Maybe one I should have simulated instead, but oh well. And then, last but not least, bringing up the rear in the West with at least a win. They're doing a little bit better than Cleveland. They're the San Francisco 49ers. They start the season with a win. They shut out the Rams. And what happened ever since? They have lost 5 in a row. They decided to switch quarterbacks last week to go with Colin Kaepernick. Oh boy, there was a lot of things going around social media about that, saying how teams should start playing the national anthem on 3rd down so Kaepernick takes a knee. But I mean, if Kaepernick was like he was his first full year his first full year as starting quarterback for the Niners, if he was back to the way he was, I mean, he'd be all over Chip Kelly's offense. I mean, Chip Kelly's offense needs that dual threat at quarterback, and Kaepernick isn't like what he used to be. But we get to see them take on Tampa Bay this weekend, and
here's Ryan Allen now.
I don't think
he's on to punt for New England.
San Francisco's done. But we'll see. Moving on to the NFC North. We got, like I said before, the undefeated Minnesota Vikings at 5-0. They just came off a bye week, so for the first time since Oh no, not the first time, whatever, but whatever. Minnesota 5-0. Defense is mainly carrying them. If the defense is rocking wild, that gives their offense plenty of time, comfort to move the ball up and down the field and get some points. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's look at they had a comeback. Their defense made 2 defensive touchdowns against Tennessee week 1. They beat Green Bay by 3 points. That's their closest game of the year so far. But then they beat Carolina by 12. They beat New York Giants by 14, and they just humiliated Houston. So it's not like they're, except for that last one, it's not, I mean, when they're taking on a legit contender, they, like, Carolina's not legit, Tennessee's not legit, Houston's not legit. Giants, I will say, can be legit. That's 14 points. That's their, and Green Bay, they lost by 3, mainly because Green Bay decided to go for it on 4th down instead of kick a field goal in that game. So, but not saying Minnesota isn't legit.
You can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt.
I mean, their schedule, look at the rest of their schedule. At Philly, this might be a hiccup for the Vikings. At Chicago, Monday night, Halloween. I mean, if Minnesota doesn't walk all over these wounded Bears, who knows what then. But like I'll say and always say, divisional games, can always throw a monkey wrench in there. Then they host Detroit. They're at Washington. Home against Arizona. Short week then. Go to Detroit on Thanksgiving. Then they got 10 days to rest. Oh no. No. That's not 10 days rest. That's a 1 week later. They take on Dallas on Thursday Night Football in US Bank Stadium. I think that's the name of their new home. That game I'm going to be looking forward to. I'm hoping Dallas still has only 1 loss. I hope Dallas just keeps on winning. Because both Dallas and Minnesota, they played that previous Thursday on Thanksgiving. And that's going to be a huge Thursday night matchup, especially if for some reason Minnesota is still undefeated. Dallas has 1 loss. This would be a determined probably number 1 seed in the NFC home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Will either run through Dallas or run through Minnesota, depending on that point in time. Then they're at Jacksonville. They host Indianapolis. Christmas Eve at Lambeau. And then they end the season hosting the Chicago Bears. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not an easy task for the Vikings. Because they don't have consecutive home games. They had their only 2 home games in a row prior to their bye, and now they're on the road for 2 straight. Home, away, home, away, home, away, home, away, home. So we'll see how the Vikings are 5-0. They have 11 games in a row now. Let's see how they can do. Second place in the North are the Green Bay Packers, my beloved Green Bay Packers, who did win tonight on Thursday Night Football. They bounced back. Yes, they did. They did beat the Chicago Bears, who are now down to their 3rd string quarterback, a team that the Packers are expected to beat. But, hey, Green Bay has no running back. They signed someone off practice squad. They traded for one. But yet, the Niall Davis, who they traded for, doesn't know the playbook to all deals. We saw him late in the game. And I'm sure once he has 10 days. Packers don't play for another 10 days. When he gets ready, when they take on Atlanta in 10 days, it will be the Niall Davis show, but instead They relied on Ty Montgomery and Randall Cobb in the backfield, mainly Ty Montgomery. Oh my God, Montgomery looked awesome, and unsung hero Devontae Adams stepped up to the plate. But Bears. I'll get to them in a bit. I mean, Green Bay, they are 4-2. Their 2 losses against Minnesota and Dallas, respectively, 3 and 14 points. And like Green Bay, they need these next 10 days. Hopefully, their cornerbacks, Randalls and Rollins, they get healthy. I mean, Gunter and Goodson, they did good, but in my opinion, if their defensive line, their front 7, their linebackers and defensive ends, if they get pressure on the quarterback, those corners can look awesome. But doesn't get easy. Green Bay just came off of 4 straight home games. They only have 1 home game in the next 5 weeks now. At Atlanta, host, then they're home against Indianapolis, and then they're at Tennessee, at Washington, at Philadelphia. But then they have 3 of their last 5 games at home. Hosting Houston, hosting Seattle, at Chicago, hosting Minnesota, big clinching divisional game, and then at Detroit. They end the season against their 3 divisional opponents. And speaking of Detroit, they are in 3rd place in the NFC North at 3-3. They're semi scratching at the door. They're not quite there. They get a few handful of wins. They might be a contender. I mean, we could have 10 teams in the NFC with winning records, but and 4 of them will miss the playoffs. I mean, Detroit gets to play Washington, and they're at Houston and Minnesota before their bye. Those are going to be tough games, especially Washington and Minnesota. Houston might be a gimme for Detroit. And then your lonely Chicago Bears. I mean, John Fox, his 2nd year in Carolina, took the Panthers to the Super Bowl. His 2nd year in Denver, he took the Broncos to the Super Bowl. His 2nd year in Chicago is far from that at 1-6. Losing tonight. Their starting quarterback, Jay Cutler, still out with a thumb injury. Brian Hoyer, 4 straight games with 300+ passing. He went out with a broken arm. Landed on his non-throwing shoulder, breaks his arm. A little disappointed. Looks like they might have stuck with Hoyer the rest of the year if he stayed healthy. And now they're to their 3rd string quarterback with Matt Barkley, the former 4th-round draft pick out of USC. And he didn't throw that much. He had 2 interceptions, but they do have a good run game. They have a decent run game, even knowing it was their other rookie or whatever. But Chicago, they have 11 days off to recuperate. They come back on Monday Night Football at Soldier Field against the Minnesota Vikings, and they're just shaking their heads like, why? So that's not going to be a good game for Chicago Bears. But hey, the Chicago Cubs, Chicago's at least got the Cubs, who are now, I believe, 1 win away from going to the World Series. I mean, forget the Bears. Let's start cheering the Cubbies. They're 1 win away. And I would be surprised if Minnesota lays an egg against Chicago next week on Monday night. But hey, who knows? Let's just wait and see. But it doesn't get easier. I mean, at Tampa Bay, at the Giants, Tennessee, San Francisco come to town, at Detroit, They host Green Bay, host Washington, and they're at Minnesota. So things aren't looking so well for the Bears. And then last but not least, the NFC South, one team at the moment, the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, last year they started the season 5-0 and finished 8-8. It's like, what happened? Now they're 4-2. They started the season 4-2. They had a close loss last week. They fell behind early, and now they fell behind early last week against Seattle, but they came back. They lost week 1 against Tampa Bay, and it's like, oh, great. Atlanta is just like last year. But then they beat Oakland. They beat New Orleans. They beat Carolina, and they beat Denver. The big win there was at Denver. I mean, they were in a shootout against Oakland, New Orleans. Carolina to some degree, yeah, that was a shootout, but they took care of Denver. That was their big win. If they would, and they almost took care of Seattle. They were winning 24-23 because Seattle missed an extra point, but Seattle got the last-second field goal to win the game. But this offense is a high-power offense, high-flying offense. Their two running backs, Coleman and Freeman, dangerous. You get the running game going, and then you throw to Julio Jones. I mean, Matt Ryan, I think he's on pace of breaking Peyton Manning's single-season passing record. But they, maybe not an easy one, but semi-easy taking on San Diego this week. But looking at the rest of your schedule, then hosting Green Bay, at Tampa Bay, at Philly, bye week. Hosting Arizona, hosting Kansas City, at Los Angeles, hosting San Francisco, at Carolina, and playing New Orleans. They could just walk away with the South. They can just walk all over the South. Speaking of Tampa Bay and New Orleans, they're fighting for second and third place at 2-3. And Tampa Bay, they might make some strides, but I think New Orleans is going to win some and lose some. They've won 2 in a row. Tampa Bay's won 1. And then the defending NFC champions, the Cam Newton and 5 Carolina Panthers. It's like, what has happened to them? Week 1, they lose by a point. Week 2, they bounce back. They get the W. I mean, at least they can't mess this one up. They have a bye this week. But they come back, they beat San Francisco, but then they lose to Minnesota at home. They lose at Atlanta thanks to Matty Ice and Julio Jones. They lose to Tampa Bay by 3. They lose to New Orleans by 3. So, I mean, right there, it's what? And then, the big kicker in that game against New Orleans, this kicks me because Cam Newton, like, he scores a touchdown, he gives a football to a fan, little kid. In New Orleans, he gets a touchdown, he goes over, sees a little kid wearing a Cam Newton jersey, hands the ball to him, and what does the kid do? He burned, he trolled him, he schooled Cam Newton, took off that jersey and had a New Orleans Saints jersey underneath, and it's like, wow. And then Cam Newton in the press conference afterwards, it's like, next question. But yet, if Carolina wins, Cam Newton's like, yeah, we won, I was awesome, we were the best, I mean, look at this. But when he loses, he's a sore loser. And that's why there's people, it's like, you know, this guy was the MVP last year. I mean, I know a few people that I think it's stupid that the media gets, you know, they have to talk to the media because it's in the contract, whatever. Thinks it's stupid. They shouldn't have to answer the media. I like it if the players were smart, you know. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, he didn't like talking to the media, but to be honest, I think he loved the attention. He loved the attention. And he just didn't like the media asking stupid questions. And like the one time he says, like, I'm just here not to get fined, was his answer. I mean, just do something like that. I mean, Cam Newton's time to man up, stop being a little crybaby. You know, you're not going to win all the time. Yes, you won a Heisman in college. Yes, you won a national championship. You won an MVP. You're great. You could be the greatest running quarterback in NFL history. But you know what? When you lose, you have to man up, answer those questions. I mean, all honesty, you're the only one to blame for your misfortunes. Everyone's is to blame for their own misfortunes. So it's just time to say, hey, you know, sick of those questions, whatever, shut up, I don't know, but just come on. Come on, man. So, there you go. Now, NFC, AFC, playoff pictures. I know we're only week 7, but hey, we're almost halfway through the NFL season. And this is where it's starting to get tight. We kind of know who's done, like San Francisco, Chicago, Carolina, they're done. Cleveland, they're done. But yet, hey, Kansas City was 1-5, I guess, last year, and then won 10 in a row or whatever. They were 1-4. They finished the season 11-5, 10-6, I forget. But they. So I mean, I suppose it's not over, but I'm almost guaranteeing. Oh, and the Jets. Chicago, Carolina, San Francisco, New York Jets, Cleveland Browns. You know, get that fork out, stick them in them because they are done and out there. I mean, I'd be amazed if one of those teams makes the playoffs. I'll be amazed if 2 of those teams has a non-losing record. If those 5 teams, if one has a winning record and one makes the playoffs or whatever, I'd be shocked. But those 5 teams, in my mind, they are done and out. But we have, let's see. We only have 14 teams with winning records. But we have 20 teams with non-losing records. If we have 20 teams with non-losing records, so if 6 of those have non-losing records and 14 have winning records. Because on the AFC side, the Browns bring up the rear, but with the Jets, Colts, Dolphins, Bengals, Chargers, Jags, Jacksonville. Those 7 teams have losing records. The rest, Tennessee at 3-2, Baltimore at 3-3, Kansas City 3-2. They would just miss the playoffs. The top 6 teams in the AFC, number 1 overall would be the New England Patriots at 5-1. And here's the shocker. The Oakland Raiders will be the number 2 seed overall in the AFC. The Raiders, the soon-to-be, I mean, should have talked about this earlier, but Las Vegas legislative just passed stadium rights or whatever for Al Davis's son. I forget his first name. Mr. Davis, the owner of the Oakland Raiders, and I mean how great the Raiders are playing now. I mean next year we could be calling them the Las Vegas Raiders because he's going to be putting in for relocation papers, and he's hoping to get the team moved. What's his name? Mark Davis. There we go. And I mean, I'll be a little disappointed, but I mean, to be honest, I mean, when a city does not want to help a major sports team to stay in that city, and I can get it if they're not making money, they're not making revenue, whatever, in the city. Yeah, but if they are making money for the city, improving the economy, the state, whatever, and you decide not to help them stay there, there's plenty of cities out there in the U.S. that would be more than willing to have a professional sports team, because that brings in tourism, the economy goes up, even fan base, local, everything goes up when you have a major sports team in your town. That's why I'm so happy that my Milwaukee Bucks of the NBA, they're staying in Milwaukee. We got a new arena being built for them. Now I just wish the Wisconsin had an NHL team, but that's a different story for a different day. But the Raiders would be in second place. They would have number 2 seed. They would have a bye. They wouldn't have to play wild card weekend. But then the Pittsburgh Steelers would be in third place, would be the 3rd seed. The Houston Texans would bring up the rear at the AFC South champions. And then the Steelers would take on the Bills, who are the 6th seed, and the Broncos would take on Houston, who are the 5th seed. And so that would, I mean, Oakland and Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo would make the playoffs for the first time since '99, I believe. And Oakland since '02, since they were in the Super Bowl. And on the NFC side, bring up the rear first. You have San Francisco at 1-5. You have Carolina at 1-5. You have Chicago. They're 1-6 now, I think. They haven't had their bye yet. Oh no. I'm pretty sure Chicago's 1-6, just like Green Bay's 4-2. Chicago's 1-6, yes. So they're actually in last place at the moment, I should say. They're behind San Francisco. It's Chicago, San Francisco, Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the last winless team, or not winless, losing team in the NFC. Then you got the Giants, Lions, Cardinals, and Rams, all at 3-3, and they're all knocking at the door at the playoffs. And the Philadelphia Eagles used to be undefeated. They were 3-0, lost 2 in a row. They're knocking on the door, looking into the playoffs, and the 7th seed, right now, 7th place in the NFC. And now, of course, standings, number 1 seed overall, best record in football, the Minnesota Vikings will be the number 1 seed in the NFC, followed by the Dallas Cowboys, who are 5-1. And it will be an interesting matchup at 5-1. And they're in the East, Minnesota in the North. 3rd seed, Seattle in the West, champions at 4-1, and Atlanta at 4-2 would be the NFC South champions. Washington would be the 5th seed. They would take on Atlanta, and Green Bay would be the 6th seed right now at 4-2. I think that still stays the same right now. They're 4-2. They might flip-flop at the moment. They might be 5th. Washington might be 6th because of their win by no common opponents. They both lost to Dallas. They both beat New York. So I'd leave Green Bay at the 6th seed. They would take on Seattle.
Throwing on first down is Brady.
And I mean, people see Dallas as a playoff contention. They see Atlanta as playoff contention. I mean, last few years they've been up and down, but in the past decade or so, last 10 years, people have seen Atlanta as a playoff team. Washington, They made the playoffs a couple times the last few years. Seattle, nothing new there. Nothing new with Green Bay. And Minnesota, that's semi-new. But last year they were the NFC North champions. But 5-0, they can easily go 5-11, but highly doubt it. So that's what the playoffs would look like if they were today. But we still have a lot of football to play. As this game is nearing halftime, 41 seconds left in the first half. Pittsburgh is up 17-7, and they don't have big old Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. I don't know if a Tom Brady-led New England Patriot offense would be trailing. I know they're on the road. I know they're at Pittsburgh. I don't know if they'd be trailing, but I mean, I just saw that Pittsburgh fumbled the ball and New England recovered it. So they have plenty of time just before half to try to get within 7 or 3. We'll see how the rest of this half plays out before I get to my picks, and boy, oh boy. I mean, last week I finally went above 500 for the week. I went 8-7. I was doing great until 3 o'clock came around, and then I just hit face first on the ground. Couple close ones that went the other way. Only really one big one in the late games that I should have picked the other way, but bounce backing Arizona at New York Jets, right? Oh, plenty of time.
Great protection. Going for the deep ball. That's caught inside
Oh!
the 20.
They got to hurry up. Time's ticking. They only have one timeout. They don't want to waste it. Come on, New England. Hurry up to that line. Oh, and they're not going to spike it. Plenty of time again.
Looking for someone to throw to.
Oh, nearly interception, but 12 seconds, 2nd and 10. They got plenty of time. They got this. New England's got this. They're going to get 7 on this drive. They're not going to settle for a field goal.
Golden opportunity to shift the momentum.
I mean, it would have been interesting if Pittsburgh got the interception on the play, but no, didn't happen. So 12 seconds left. Tom Brady, shotgun, 3 to his left, 1 to his right. Oh, under pressure, gets rid of it, touchdown. Who else but Amendola, that's it, Amendola. Now that seems about right. I can see New England trailing 17-0, and then coming out of nowhere, getting 14 straight points. So, and just before the half,
And I think for most teams, when
that's the one thing with football.
It's not a lot of adjusting
The
going
numbers
on.
lie.
All right, guys.
Okay,
Let's just play a little
what I
bit
mean
better
by
than we
that
did
is,
in the first
if you
half.
look at the stats, one team could be dominating in passing, running, time of possession, but the other team could be winning, just in general, could be winning. And it could be by the smallest of margin, by 1 point, or it could be by 20. So, football is a sport where the numbers lie. They don't always tell the truth, and it's just hard to tell who may win. And it's like, hey, he had a great statistic game, yeah, for fantasy football wise, but in real life we lost, and you know what that means? We suck. And that's more or less like the Chargers. Chargers, I think, statistically look great, but they just can't win. They can't hang on to the win. So here we go. New England kicks it off. High floater deep at the goal line. And he gets wrapped up with 4 seconds left in the half. I mean, Pittsburgh should just take a knee, head to halftime, in my opinion. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Yep, victory formation. Take a knee and head to the half.
Time running down, they go down to a knee. So we reach halftime here in the Steel City with the Steelers on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando.
So 14-17 at the half.
Sports halftime report. Larry?
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to our EA halftime report.
New England only down by
They're doing
3.
a good job protecting their house. The Patriots, on the other hand, want
So,
to quiet this crowd and turn
like I
things
said
around.
last week in my picks, I finally had a winning week. Maybe by 1 game, but it was worth it. Overall, I am 50-42. I should be 50-43 now because I successfully picked Green Bay over Chicago. But one, I will pick the Packers 9 times out of 10, and 2, it's Chicago sucks, the Bears still suck, and the Packers are the better team. But yay! At the looking at the games of the week, we start week 7. Chicago at Green Bay. We already know the result of that one. Green Bay wins 26-10 over Chicago. Both teams Green Bay will have 10 days of rest. Chicago will have 11 days to rest, and they both need it. Green Bay at running back and cornerback. Chicago everywhere. But anyways, on Sunday's action starts across the pond where the New York Football Giants take on the Los Angeles Rams. That game will be a 8:30 Central, 9 Eastern, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Mountain, 5:30 local time for Los Angeles fans. On the NFL Network, they're going to be kicking the game off. It's going to be in London. The first time, I believe, they will play outside of Wembley Stadium. It will be wherever I do believe, yes, at Twickenham Stadium, home of the English rugby team. Also, I believe the Tottenham Hotspurs play there, I think. Don't quote me on that. But this will be the first time when they start playing in London that won't be at Wembley Stadium. So we have New York at Los Angeles in London. Then we have Cleveland at Cincinnati, Washington at Detroit, Indianapolis at Tennessee, New Orleans at Kansas City, Buffalo at Miami, Baltimore at the New York Jets, Minnesota at Philadelphia, Oakland at Jacksonville, San Diego at Atlanta, Tampa Bay at San Francisco. These New England Patriots taking on those Pittsburgh Steelers. The Sunday night game, Seattle at Arizona. And last but not least, finishing week 7, Monday Night Football. Another revenge match, Houston at Denver. So let's go across the pond where the New York Football Giants take on the Los Angeles Rams. This will be an interesting game. Both teams, one at 500, one just shy of 500. Or they are both. I think they are actually both at 3. They're both 3-3. I don't know what I'm talking about. And the New York Giants at 3-3, and the LA Rams are at 3-3. So this will be a exciting game down the road when it comes to draft picks and/or playoff runs. I mean, Rams, after being humiliated on Monday Night Football Week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers, they won 3 in a row, but they have lost 2 since against Buffalo and against Detroit. Well, the Giants, they have a stellar stellar wide receiving core with Odell, Victor, and the rookie Shepard, Sterling Shepard. The Rams, I don't know the Rams that well, to be all honest. But 2 of their 3 wins for sure have been against divisional opponents. Well, let me see. I gotta look on who they beat so far this year. I know they beat Seattle. I know they beat Arizona. I need to know who else they beat. They beat Tampa Bay. That's who. But they lost to Buffalo and they lost to Detroit. Detroit by 3 and Buffalo by 11. And then they lost. They were shut out by San Fran. This one, I know it's across the pond, and it's a long travel for LA. They're one of the teams that have to make that long travel. New York's a little short. New York's played in London before, but I got to go with the Giants here. I think the layover is going to hurt LA. It's going to benefit the Giants, and Giants, they show why they can make a statement and make a push for the playoffs and maybe for that NFC East title. So Giants here, I will. Next game, Cleveland at Cincinnati. I mean, do I really have to say who I'm picking here? I gotta go with Cincinnati. Cincinnati has won the games against terrible teams and lost games against good teams. And since Cleveland is a terrible team, they don't know where they're going or where they've been. They're not the Cavaliers, and they're definitely not the Indians. So Cincinnati, the Battle of Ohio, Bengals win. Another good game, another close game, another game that could determine postseason run. Washington at Detroit. Detroit, yet again, they have their up and down. They're 2-1 at home, but 1-2 on the road. While Washington, they are 2-0 on the road. So statistically saying, Washington is favored because they haven't lost on the road. But Detroit, their one loss at home, I believe, was against Tennessee, and they were penalized like 20 times or whatever. This is going to be a good game, good close game. And I have to go with Washington. Washington has won 4 in a row. Washington has momentum. Detroit can easily win this game too, I think, because since they're the home team. But I think somehow Detroit's just not all there yet. Detroit knows how to lose games. And in Washington, they've been playing good as of late, and I gotta go with them. Net points, 0. So they have scored as many as they've given up. And before I continue, I should have noted that Carolina and Dallas have the byes this week. There are 15 games this week. Yeah, 15 games this week. They're burp. Excuse me on that. But Dallas and Carolina have the byes this week. So Dallas gets to sit back and relax, while Carolina gets to be happy that they can't lose this week. But Detroit, Washington, I got to go with Washington. I mean, they beat some good teams like the Giants and Philly. Baltimore's a good team, and that was a good road game. But I got to go with Washington on this one. They got the momentum going their way. Even knowing that Detroit has won 2 in a row since losing to, I believe, Green Bay a few weeks ago. No, they lost to Chicago, was their last loss, and they beat Philly and LA. So But I gotta go with Washington. This game, this is a coin flip, to be all honest. It could come down to a final second play, but Washington, I say, gets the victory. Indianapolis at Tennessee. I don't know where to begin here. I think Indianapolis does not have a shot in the world to push and make it to the playoffs. I mean, I picked them to finish third in the AFC South, but I did pick Tennessee to finish last, but Tennessee's far from last. The South, in my opinion, is wide open, and since Tennessee is the home team in this factor, I think Tennessee with Marcus Mariota, DeMarco Murray and company, they will eke out the victory. This time I will pick the home team, unlike Detroit and Washington. I gotta give home field advantage to Detroit. Okay. New Orleans at Kansas City. New Orleans, they might have a shot to finish the season at least at 8-8.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he stopped immediately.
Kansas City.
They'll lose a yard and it brings up third. And yet again, this run game
Let me see something real quick.
completely shut off.
Kansas City already had their bye, and they beat Oakland last week. Oakland beat New Orleans week 1, and the game's at Kansas City. So, I mean, New Orleans, New Orleans lost. They started the season 0-3 and they won 2 straight. But their 2 wins, a point victory over San Diego and 3 points win over Carolina in the highest scoring games. Their 3 losses, they lost by a point to Oakland, 3 to New York Giants, and 13 to Atlanta. So, well, Kansas City, I think Kansas City is a better team. They won week 1. Oh, here's an interesting fact. Yes, they won week 1. They lost week 2. They won week 3. They lost week 4. Both those games on the road. But week 5, they had a bye. Week 6, they won. So, Kansas City hasn't won or lost more in a row. But they are 2-0 at home. They're the home team. Kansas City starts actually winning some games in a row, just like they did last year. Out of nowhere, being 1-5 starting the season and winning 10 in a row. I mean, so going back to those teams, except Chicago, that are 1-5, they could just be this year's Kansas City. But things are going against Kansas City this week because, like I said, they have won and lost every other week. New Orleans has won 2 in a row, but Kansas City is my pick. Kansas City wins mainly because they are the home team. Buffalo at Miami. Originally, I picked Miami just because they beat Pittsburgh at home last week. And so, Buffalo has been riding high. They've been on a 4-game win streak since they fired their offensive coordinator, since they lost week 2 on Thursday night to the New York Jets. Buffalo hasn't looked bad. They beat the Tom Brady-less Patriots, shut them out in Foxborough, but they're going to Miami. This is going to be a tough one. Buffalo has all the momentum. Miami hasn't been there. Miami has been up and down. I mean, Miami's held Seattle to 12 points and still lost week 1. They lost to New England week 2 by 7. They barely beat Cleveland. That game, might I add, in overtime, I do believe. But they lost to Cincinnati. They've lost to Tennessee. And tell me how they beat Pittsburgh. I know they took out Big Ben. So, I mean, if Miami shows up, Miami decides to show up to town, if what's his name? Their quarterback. Now I feel stupid.
Second down following the run.
Ryan Tannehill, that's it. If Tannehill shows up, and their running game, I think, Jay G, he had he was born in London, who knew? And played at Boise State. I believe he had a breakout game last week against Pittsburgh. 25 rushes for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, if Miami gets the running game going, I think they can beat Buffalo. And this is one of my upset picks is Miami over Buffalo. I think Miami can, since they're the home team, I like the home teams a lot. They can derail these Buffalo Bills. I mean, reality check will hit the Bills, but the Bills won't be down and out because the AFC this year is kind of not as strong as the NFC. And opinion-wise, NFC is a better division conference. But I think Miami at home, if they get the running game going, their defense stops Tyrod Taylor. Miami, if Miami can beat Pittsburgh, they can beat the Bills. So, I mean, come on.
Is block the guy at the point of attack and then climb to the next level and get the linebacker. And you're not allowed to climb. You got a free hitter, and that's what we saw.
Next game on the docket. We have the Baltimore Ravens traveling north to take on the New York Jets. This is yet again, in my opinion, I mean, Jets only have one win. They decide to finally switch quarterbacks with Geno Smith in, and do I feel Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Ryan Fitzpatrick? Well, when Fitzpatrick throws like 20 interceptions in 3 games, you have little to no choice aside to make a QB change. I mean, this is a team that just barely missed the playoffs because of the Buffalo Bills. If they would have won Week 17, it would have been in the playoffs last year. But now they are 1-5 and on the urge of going 1-6. Baltimore started the season with 3 straight wins, and they have had 3 straight losses. And the Ravens are at +2 on the net points, while the Jets are -69. I mean, the Jets need this win more than Baltimore does, in some opinion. But I mean, you look at the 3 straight losses by Baltimore. They lost by a point to Oakland, lost by 6 to Washington, and 4 to New York Giants. They make 2 straight. This is the second week in a row they'll be playing at MetLife Stadium. They took on the Giants, lost by 4. Now they take on the Jets, and hopefully the Jets. I mean, the Ravens, in my opinion, I think will bounce back. They get back on the winning way. They take care of the Jets. The Jets, they're just crashing and burning. I saw enough memes from NFL.com, and oh boy, that NFL memes, those were funny, in my opinion. But Baltimore, hands down, they get the bounce back. They get back on the winning way. And easy peasy. Okay, big game. This was a big game a few weeks ago when both teams were still undefeated when looking down the schedule, but now one has lost 2 in a row and one just came off a bye and nice and fresh. But you have the Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. And Minnesota's good. I don't know, great. Statistically wise, they can be considered great, but they are a pretty good team. They need to make the playoffs, which I don't think will be too difficult for them. They need to make it to the Super Bowl, and they need to win win the Super Bowl to be crowned great. Now, the Buffalo Bills of the early 90s, who went to 4 straight Super Bowls, they were great teams. They just lost to better teams that day, because you have any given Sunday is the motto. Any given day, any given Sunday. While the Philadelphia Eagles, they started the season 3-0. The number 2 draft pick overall, Carson Wentz. I mean, they traded Sam Bradford to Minnesota because Minnesota lost Teddy Bridgewater to a freak accident, non-contact injury, dislocated kneecap, tearing ACL, and Sam Bradford, yes, he's putting up great numbers. He hasn't thrown an interception yet. Carson Wentz now has at least 2 interceptions. But Bradford has been amazing for Minnesota for the little bit of time he's been there. Carson Wentz has been amazing for Philly, being drafted number 2 overall. And hey, Cleveland, he could have been yours. But in all honesty, I don't think Carson Wentz would have been as good with Cleveland as he is with Philly. Philly, I believe last year, just barely missed. I mean, they had a winning record at 9-7, I think. But they fired Chip Kelly week 16. They got rid of him. But anyways, Philly's the home team. Minnesota will most likely win this game because of defense. But they both have good defenses. But I say if Philadelphia can beat Pittsburgh. Now, granted, Pittsburgh is an up and down team when they're on the road. But that's why Philly's the home team here. If Philly's defense can rattle Sam Bradford, they know Sam Bradford than anybody else. They were in preseason with him. They practiced against him all off season, and they got rid of him. They played with, he was there last year. If Philly's defense gets to Sam Bradford, shakes up Sam Bradford, Philly can win this game. But if Philly can't get to Sam Bradford, it's going to be Minnesota. Minnesota's defense, I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz will get rattled by Minnesota's defense, in all honesty. But as the young buck, I think I'll put it this way. I think Minnesota is going to win, but I'm picking Philadelphia because I just can't pick Minnesota. I really think Minnesota's going to end up winning this game. They're the better team. They are the better team. But since Philly is home, I got to go with Philadelphia. Philadelphia surprises, ends. Everyone, Minnesota's undefeated streak will be over, but we'll still have a 1-game lead in the NFC North, and Philly gets a little bit closer back on top of the East. Okay. Oakland at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, what happened to you? Everyone was on the hype train at the beginning of the year with you. You had 2 big name wide receivers, not big name, but could soon to be big name wide receivers. Blake Bortles was supposed to have a breakout year. Oh, maybe that's it. They're 31st in the league in rushing. And 29th in total yards per game. That might be one reason. But what's the deal? Jacksonville, you were supposed to be that team. You are 2-3 right now. You are the home team in this one. So, I mean, you're not down out, and especially playing in the AFC South, you still have a legit shot of winning it. And then the Raiders. Oakland Raiders made a statement week 1. Week 1. Beating New Orleans in the Superdome. But then coming back, losing to Atlanta week 2. But but then you won 3 in a row after that. Who'd you all beat? I know you just lost to Kansas City in a blowout. Blowout. 26-10. Lopsided victory, maybe not blowout, but you beat Tennessee, you beat Baltimore, you beat San Diego. San Diego because of a botched snap. Baltimore by a point, and Tennessee. See, this is the difference maker between, say, Oakland and San Diego. San Diego can pull out those close wins. San Diego just somehow crumbles under pressure. But this is what builds confidence of sneaking out those victories at the end. And let's see this. So, Oakland, you got momentum. You know how to win. It might be close, but you know how to win. Jacksonville, you've won your last 2 games. Yes, but that was against Indianapolis across the pond. You had a bye week, and then you barely beat the Bears by a point last week, but yet it is the Bears. But you hung in there against Green Bay week 1. You got slaughtered by San Diego week 2, and then you just barely lost to Baltimore week 3. But when it comes to picking this game, Jacksonville, I really thought you'd do better. There's no way you're going to be a wild card team, I'll put that. The only way you're going to make the playoffs is if you win the South. I had you becoming a wild card team, but in the AFC, it might still be possible. But I got to go with Oakland in this one. Oakland is the better team. Oakland is the... I don't want to say surprise, because a lot of people did expect Oakland to make that big step. They thought Oakland and Jacksonville would make that big step this year. And Oakland did. Jacksonville is struggling. So Oakland, you get my pick. You go to the road. You go to the East Coast, and you're playing at noon, 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central, 10 Mountain. 10 local, 11 Mountain time. So you're going to be tired. Jacksonville, it doesn't matter. You showed that West Coast teams can play 1 o'clock games on the East Coast and win. So I should have thought that through. But unlike LA playing in London against New York, this West Coast team is going to the East Coast and winning. Okay, San Diego at Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta should have won last week in my mind. San Diego, they finally get a confidence booster in beating Denver. And now these two teams meet. San Diego could have easily, in my opinion, can be a 5-0 team, 6-0 team, whatever. But they're 2-4. They're 2-4 because of miscues and bloopers. I mean, they had Kansas City on the ropes week 1. Let them come back in overtime and win. A few weeks later, you had a botched snap to let a potential game-time field goal. You let that go through your hands, and the kicker's just laughing it off. Last week, you finally get the win on Thursday night with those stupid color rush uniforms, and
This is brought in at the 21.
Yeah.
A good return there, 17 yards. And
but
the offense will come back onto the field.
San Diego, you're lucky that this West Coast team is going East Coast, but it's not a noon game. It's not. It's an early kick. It's a late kickoff. 3:05, 4:05 Eastern time. That's 1 o'clock local time. So I mean, for you, this would be like a noon game. Atlanta, you start a little bit later. You're the home team. You start the season with a divisional loss, and it looks like, oh great, this shit again's happening to us. We start the season 5-0 last year and only managed to win 3 more games. But you know what you do? You go on, you win 4 in a row. You take control of the NFC South. You went to Seattle. You went to the East Coast. Went to the West Coast for a late game. And you lost by 2. You should have beat Seattle. You should have went into Seattle and you should have beat them. But you lost. But you still have confidence. You got a great duo at running back. You got Julio Jones at wide receiver. And you got Matty Ice, this renaissance. I mean, I got to go with Atlanta this one because they're the home team. Atlanta's going to show some rejuvenance. They're back, and they're better than ever. Maybe.
And no matter what the situation, the O-line just hates that because they
so,
feel like they didn't protect
Atlanta,
back there, right?
San Diego, I'm sorry, but you will go 2-5. Atlanta will go 5-2. But hey, San Diego, maybe an 8-8 record, maybe.
It's really difficult task.
Tampa Bay at San Francisco. Woo. Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston and company, heading to San Fran, the city by the bay, taking on the kneeling Kaepernick and the 49ers. The question becomes, can the 49ers ever win a game again this season? I mean, this is a potential one that they can. This is one I think San Francisco has a legit shot. Tampa Bay isn't quite all there. Tampa Bay isn't quite a playoff-ready team. Tampa Bay is a 6-10, 7-9, maybe 8-8 team. They'll win some, but then they'll lose some here and there. I don't see Tampa Bay winning more than 8 actually this year. So San Francisco, this might be your shot to bounce back, to finally, hey, we're ready and make that run just like the Chiefs did last year and win 10 in a row. Wow, just watching replay right here. But you know what, San Francisco? I'm sorry, but that's not this week. Tampa Bay comes into town. Tampa Bay walks out of town as the winner. Tampa Bay takes care of San Francisco. But this is another one that might just swing the other way. Okay? So, like, so far, like, to be all honest, the New York Giants LA game could go either way. Hey, Detroit, Washington can go either way. Tennessee, Indianapolis can go either way. Those 3 games for sure. And this one could go either way, in my opinion. They're too close. The swing, the pendulum. But I'm going with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the better team. San Francisco, you're rebuilding. I mean, don't get rid of Chip Kelly after this year, San Fran. I mean, I would love to see Chip Kelly have some. He had success in Philadelphia. He never had a losing record in Philly. but apparently he still wasn't good enough. It was like how they lost. Chip Kelly needs to slow down that offense, though. It's like you don't need to get the first down, hurry up, and snap 5 seconds later. Take your time. But Tampa Bay over San Francisco, easy. Game of the week. What I'm doing right now. New England versus Pittsburgh. Right now, man says New England's winning by a point. I mean, I'm surprised that Pittsburgh scored 23 points, especially with Ben Roethlisberger. They don't have Ben Roethlisberger. They would have to rely on Landry Jones, named after Tom Landry, former Oklahoma Sooner. Plenty of time for him. Get rid of it. I mean, Pittsburgh, I don't know what has happened to them. I mean, their 2 losses, Philly on the road, Miami on the road. So they have a great running back in Le'Veon Bell. They have a great wide receiver, Antonio Brown. They have a good receiving core. I forget the other guys on their receiving core, but they have good talent, good depth there. But you have to watch out for Brown and Bell. And without Ben, I think New England might just have that field day. New England is on the road. Pittsburgh is home. Pittsburgh has that home field advantage. But I don't think it's going to be quite this close to what it is so far right now. 24-23. I'm going to flat out say I pick New England. I think New England's going to win. Tom Brady and company. I mean, come on. Come on, man. It's Tom Brady and company taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers without Big Ben. Landry Jones isn't your 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback back there. Yes, he knows how to hand the ball off to the Bell. I mean, like that. Interception. I mean, if they establish the run game with Bell, or even screens with Bell, if they can move the ball with Bell, then they can hit Brown, hit whoever, and Pittsburgh may have a chance. But without Big Ben, that's one reason why they lost to Miami last week. And with LeGarrette Blount and company, those running backs that New England has, James White, Wisconsin, out of the backfield, I mean, if Miami's running back can run wild on them, I mean, why can't New England? So, New England, hands down, easy peasy. I think New England can win by at least by 14, if not blow Pittsburgh out of the water. But I wouldn't count Pittsburgh out completely. So, I mean, look right there. Almost they stopped him at the 1. I mean, it's a 1-point game right now, but anyways, Sunday Night Football, Seattle at Arizona. Big heated divisional rivalry within the last few years. Arizona, second Sunday night game, I think, in the desert. They are favored, but this game could go either way. I mean, who has Seattle lost to this year so far? I know they are 4-1. I mean, the big story is how Arizona started the season. Arizona started the season at home, Sunday Night Football, hosting the New England Patriots. And they lose because of a missed field goal. They lost by 2. And the Patriots didn't have Tom Brady. But they come back week 2. They destroyed the Buccaneers 40-7. And it's like, hey, Arizona's back. Arizona is who we thought they were.
That's why that play just never had a chance.
But then they travel to Buffalo. They lose. They get manhandled by the Bills. They're at home again. They take on divisional rival LA Rams. They lose by 4, 17-13. And it's like, we can't lose another divisional game. They go on, they take on San Francisco Thursday night. At San Francisco, they win. Last week, they head to New York to take on the Jets, they win. So, they beat Tampa Bay, they beat San Fran, and they beat the Jets. 3 teams they are expected to beat. Who would they lose to? They lost to New England. That was a close game, could have gone either way. They got destroyed by the Bills in Buffalo. And then they lost a divisional rivalry at home. And it's like, where are these Cardinals? These Cardinals are expected to win the West. Not Seattle. And Seattle's 4-1. And the one thing they both have in common, they both have lost to the Rams. I mean, Seattle was able to hang on to a 2-point win over Miami week 1. And then they lose to the Rams 9-3. That's some baseball score there. LA versus Seattle. Woo! 9-3, but then Seattle comes back. They destroy San Francisco. Who hasn't beat San Francisco? Oh yeah, that's right, the Rams. They beat San Francisco. They beat the Jets. I mean, they have had a similar schedule. They beat San Francisco and they beat the Jets consecutive weeks. Seattle had the bye, then they came back. They snuck out. They snuck out with a 2-point victory over Atlanta. And Seattle easily could be 3-2 instead of 4-1. I will have to say, since Arizona is the home team, Arizona just might be looking better, especially with David Johnson. David Johnson in that backfield. I mean, if Seattle can stop their running game, Arizona's running game, I think Seattle just might pull out the victory. But I would have to. I'm going with Arizona in this game, and David Johnson, just hand him the rock, and he will run up and down that field. Arizona gets back on the winning way. They improve to 4-3. Get back. Have a winning record for the first time, I think. Yeah, winning record for the first time all year. And Seattle drops to 4-2. And it's, oh, hey, the Rams and the Cardinals are just right behind us. But we close out the week 7 against yet again another revenge game, you could say. I mean, Sam Bradford, revenge game against Philly. But I don't think Sam Bradford's really... Well, no, I know Sam Bradford. He was all whiny and moany that they drafted Carson Wentz. Well, now he's the quarterback for Minnesota, and Carson Wentz is the quarterback for Philly. So I think everyone's happy now, especially what records say. But anyways, revenge game to some degree. Houston at Denver. Houston's Brock Osweiler gets benched after taking over for injured Peyton Manning. Gets benched. Peyton Manning comes back, plays poorly, but yet wins the Super Bowl, his second Super Bowl. While Osweiler, they easily could have signed him, but apparently they weren't offering enough money for him that he want with Denver. Decided, hey, I'm taking my money and I'm going to Houston. Because Houston, they don't have no problem anymore at quarterback because they got me, Brock Osweiler, Super Bowl winning quarterback, as a backup quarterback, just like Tyrod Taylor. But who is Houston? Is the real question. Yes, they are 4-2. But the sad thing is, so is Denver. Denver's 4-2. They started the season 4-0 and have lost 2 straight. I mean, they're having some issues at quarterback, but it's that defense that keeps Denver in check. It's not like, wait. Let's watch this real quick. Pittsburgh kicks the field goal, and it's good. And I mean, Denver has lost 2 in a row against Atlanta, good team, and San Diego, divisional rival, and/or one of the best losing teams out there.
But then you take one look across the field
Houston,
and see that offense is raring to come
they
back
started the
out
season,
and
they
get
got their
power on the
revenge
field.
over who beat them in the playoffs. Oh, wait, no, that was week 2. They beat Chicago week 1. They beat Chicago week 1. They got revenge week 2 against Kansas City, but then they got blanketed. They were shut out 27-0 by New England. Then they beat Tennessee, divisional rival, but then they got blanked, they got beat, they got bloodied by Minnesota 31-13, but then they won by 3 against
After the successful
Indianapolis.
field goal try, here's Boswell to send it away.
So they have that divisional lead, Houston, but it's like
And he'll make it across the 20.
is Brock Osweiler really that good? They have good receivers,
23-yard line.
but is Denver, is it going to be Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch? Well, we know it's going to be Trevor Siemian, but since Denver is the home team, in this one, Denver's defense, if Houston had J.J. Watt and an actual,
without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
I don't want to say legitimate quarterback, that's an insult to Osweiler, but yet, hey, are you really that good, deserve that much money? I don't think so. Since Denver's the home team, Denver wins. I mean, yes, they lost to Atlanta at home, but Atlanta is not Houston. And Houston, you'll have a problem when Denver runs wild on you. Denver wins. Monday Night Football, close out week 7. And Houston maybe still has the lead, probably still have the lead in the South. And Denver catches closer to Oakland. So those are my picks. Those are some of the big stories in the NFL right now. There's probably more out there. I just can't think of them. Too lazy to look them up, whatever. But the game of the week right now, Pittsburgh is up by 2 with a little over 4 minutes left. So let's see if New England's on the move. I really think this is a closer game than it might turn out to be. I really think New England will win by 2 digits.
They go play action here on first down. He's going to
Oh, going deep, but that's out of bounds.
Seeing no options, he throws it away.
And you just know when that play call came in, their eyes lit up because anytime you get a chance to take a big shot downfield,
let's
that's a lot
see.
of fun, and they missed an opportunity.
So 2nd and 10 here. Brady to throw again.
Oh, 4 minutes to go. Oh, come on. There, Tom Brady. Yeah, sure. Why not?
He's going to go down. Javon Hargrave in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. And I know it seems like we say this a lot in broadcast booths, but a quarterback can hold on to the football too long in these situations. I think he did right there.
Oh, I agree with you totally. Sometimes you have to understand situations.
I don't think Tom Brady would have been sacked that easily. But this is Madden. Anything can happen in Madden. As I've seen worse interceptions in while playing Madden, where like defensive back, linebacker, not facing the receiver at all, and all of a sudden, ball hits him in the back and he has the ball.
They go play action for
Ooh, 3rd and 19.
He's going to air it out deep for
Oh, first down and more for New England.
Complete.
Amendola.
They do finally get him, but he takes it to the 25. We
Woo-wee.
haven't been shortchanged on offense. Another fun play to watch there on the deep pass.
And the clock keeps on ticking. New England, are they in field goal range? It's hard to tell.
You know, when we get together this year, when the Davises and the Gaudens get together,
Oh, sort of.
it's going to look like they're drawing them up in the dirt, and so far it's working for both of them.
So New England 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Oh yeah, that's field goal range for sure. Both teams have all 3 timeouts, and if you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, I mean, who would be less confident? And look at that, Edelman.
5-yard line.
If I'm New England, I'd let that go down to a 2-man warning.
400 yards passing now.
You know what that
400 yards passing.
Success.
I believe that.
You really didn't miss opportunities. Usually very accurate. The ball's getting to the right place. Guys are making yardage after the catch to help you out that way. I mean, the whole team is.
So what? First and goal at the 5. Oh, what is that? False start?
Protect pretty well too.
Everyone dialed in.
False start. Offense.
Yeah. Oh, geez. So first and goal at the 10.
And leading here late, so a chance for the defense to really close out this game if they can halt the offense. Blunt, the lone running back. So the chain gang now done for the drive. Ball on the 10.
Oh, Blunt. I mean, oh, 2-man warning. 2-man warning.
Only a yard that time. Second and goal.
I mean, a field goal will win it. So with a touchdown.
After this. So the Patriots with a football as we get you reset. And they're knocking on the door. Second and goal now in a one-score game.
So second goal at the 8-yard line. 2-man warning. Hand off the Blunt. Oh, hurry up. No. They don't need to hurry up.
Play number 8 on the drive. It's third and goal. And they're going to hurry back to the line now.
Flag.
Flags come in. Look like one of the Patriots might have moved.
False start. Offense.
False start. Third and goal now at the 13. Wow. Doesn't matter. Just need a run time off the clock.
The defense in an enviable position here. The offense needs 13 yards. It's third down.
So third and goal. They just need to move the ball. Pittsburgh would probably call time.
Now White.
I mean,
And he is
that's
gonna
fine.
lose yardage here. And a loss of
They just
3
let
to bring
clock
up
let the
4.
clock tick.
Nice job holding him out of the end zone on third
Let
down,
the
but
clock
give a
tick
big assist to the
down.
crowd.
New
They've been
England,
the entire
all they
game.
gotta do
It's
is make a
split
chip
the
shot
ball.
field goal
Here
to
in the
retake the
second half,
lead.
really helped elevate
I
their
mean,
play.
just that easy.
So on fourth down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This for the lead in the final
So
stages.
fourth and goal at the 16. Snap, place, kick is up and
And Gostkowski's
is
kick is
good.
And with a little over a minute to play, they have taken the lead. Now then, it's a big kick right there to give them the lead in the fourth. But, Charles, there is still time left for a final drive.
Brandon, you know they would have liked to take the clock down just a little bit further, at least under a minute or so, but this one's not over yet, especially since they just need a field goal.
So 1 point lead with a minute or so left in the game.
Gostkowski now converted for 3. Now he'll kick this one away. Here comes Gilbert. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. They're only in need of a field goal, a decent amount of time on the clock. So tell me if I'm wrong. You don't have to be too panicked here.
No, not at all. I agree with you. And this is where your preparation and
59 seconds left.
They've worked on these
Landry
situations
Jones
all the
needs
time.
to get
Does it all the time.
needs to get the Pittsburgh Steelers in the field goal range. He has all 3 timeouts. He has Antonio Brown at wide receiver. He has Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. Plenty of time. Ooh.
And look at that catch, dragging the toes, and it's going to be a first down. Well done.
So, oh yeah, he did step out of bounds, which is good. Good.
So the offense has it 1st and 10. He's back to throw.
Ooh, wide open, but keeps him in bounds. He'll have to be forced. Oh, hurry up.
Yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. They're going to hurry back to the line now. Back to throw.
Oh, play action to Bell. Oh, in field goal range and more. Ooh, with New England calls a timeout. That's a surprise.
We're going to get a timeout here called by the Patriots. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. And now following that timeout, the defense back out onto the field.
.33 seconds. Pittsburgh well in field goal range. New England on the
Comes to the line now, 1st and 10.
the brink of losing. I don't know. I just don't think Landry Jones has it in him, especially against the New England. Oh, all-out blitz.
And seeing no options, he just tosses this
29
away.
seconds.
Complete.
If Pittsburgh was smart.
Well, any caused incompletion is good for a defense. But when you add to it that you get a little hit on the quarterback, knock him to the ground, make him think a little bit, hopefully knock him off his game, especially in a game of this magnitude, this tight in the 4th quarter, got to feel pretty good as a defense.
So what do we got? We got 2nd and 10, 29 seconds. They hand the ball off to Bell. He gets stopped. They hurry up.
1 yard, the official pickup there, so it's going to set up 3rd and 9. Back to
Oh, plenty of time. He throws. Oh, he's under pressure. Oh, gets away with one. Lucky.
And that was incomplete, but I don't know how much of that falls on the quarterback. He was pressured.
Brandon, the rush showed up so fast, the quarterback had no chance to get the ball downfield.
So here we go. Maybe the biggest.
Oh, timeout New England. 4th and 9, 11 seconds. Ball's at the 33. This will be a 50-yard field goal attempt to take the lead.
All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense.
So we have a 50-yard game-winning field goal attempt by Pittsburgh. Down by 1. New England just iced the kicker. This is for all the marbles.
So the field goal unit is on the field as this is a big spot right here. This to almost certainly win the football game.
Here we go. The snap. Place. Kick is up.
And did he have enough? He did.
And it's good. 7 seconds left, though, with a 2-point lead.
Celebration time on that sideline as they have
This is a close game.
the final seconds. So what a finish here as they maneuver into the outside of his range. He steps up and drills it from long distance.
And Brandon, that was no gimme, was it? These kickers, though, all they want is a chance. And he knew that one was good the second it left his foot.
So 7 seconds left. Seven seconds.
Successful field goal try. Here's Boswell.
Here's the kick. It is short. Gets at the 5. Up to the 20, 22, 24-yard line with 4 seconds left. So it's going to be a Hail Mary.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right.
So here we go. Big lob down the field, and it's knocked down as the time expires.
Final drive comes up empty, and with that, the ball game is over. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end.
So there you have it, folks.
However, we were dreaming
Landry
really
Jones
spectacular affair.
gets a survive. Pittsburgh wins.
Exactly right. They took us down to the last play. We're still.
I shouldn't say highly doubt. I just think New
England
England without Big Ben, I think the Steelers don't have a good enough chance to win, but I think New England will come into Pittsburgh and get the W. So, there you got it. We'll see if Man finally can tie it up, get back to even. But I like I said before, and I'll say again, I like New England this game. I just think without Big Ben, Pittsburgh won't have this close of a chance of winning. But we'll see. So that's it for this week. Tune in again for next week. We'll see if Madden's either 4-4 or goes 4-5. So, final New England 27, Pittsburgh 29. So enjoy week 7 of the NFL. Until next time, I'll see you around.